I know my daughter has been killed already. I know I won't get her back. But as a father, I will get rest only when I get justice to her. That's what I am searching, and I want to know the truth and to bring the people who are behind this murder to justice. That's what I'm doing. Until my last breath, I would do that. I would fight for justice to my daughter.
Until your last breath?
Yes, until my last breath, I would do that.
Hello everyone, welcome to Mysterious Mariam. I am Mariam AHSAN. Viewer discretion for today's video is advised as it may contain some mentions of suicide. So if it is something that you can't hear right now, please click out of today's video as your mental health is more important for me than the video's analytics, and I will surely see you in some other video which is more suitable for you to watch. Let's dive in. Raudha Athif was born on May 18, 1996 to Muhammad Athif in Maldives. Muhammad Athif was a doctor and trained forensic expert. Raudha studied in Hiria School and Villa International High School in Maldives. Raudha was a happy girl with bright future and a promising career ahead of her. She was friendly, light-hearted, full of life girl. Her career highlight was when at the age of 14 she appeared in an environmental campaign for National Television Network encouraging people to ban plastic bags in support of eco-friendly substitutes. The extraordinary charm of the girl with aqua blue eyes could not be held back, and the picture went viral, becoming an internet sensation in 2014. This photo shoot was done by a Maldivian photographer. It was not long before fans started approaching her, and within no time Raudha was an overnight celebrity. And it's not like she was only flourishing in her modeling career, she was nailing her academics as well. She won scholarship from Department of Higher Education Maldives and started medical school in Islami Bank Medical College in Rajshahi, Bangladesh. In October 2016, she was picked as one of 6 models from 6 nations for Vogue India's Beauty Diversity cover shoot. At the time, Raudha told the magazine that she saw her modeling career as a hobby while studying to become a doctor. She said that becoming a doctor to help people has always been her dream. She was living in Rajshahi Islami Medical College's girls' hostel, room number 209. On March 29, 2014, Mahmooda Begum, superintendent of the female hostel, was in her chamber. Suddenly, she heard screams of students rushing to the second floor for the 6-story building. She said she saw some of the students trying to break the door of Raudha's room. She said the door was locked from the inside and students broke into her room. According to Mahmooda and other students present at the scene, they found Raudha hanging to fan with a blue scarf. They entered the room, removed Raudha's body from the scarf and laid her on her bed. Although crime scenes are generally considered delicate, preventing contamination, still, it didn't stop spectators from entering the room, taking the pictures and compromise the crime scene. College authorities and police arrived at the scene. They recovered Raudha's body and sent it for autopsy without Raudha's family's consent. Raudha's autopsy had been very controversial, especially as the autopsy wasn't handled by independent doctors and that autopsy was performed in the presence of the professors from her university, who obviously had the interest of university to consider. Raudha's family was informed and they arrived Bangladesh the next day of Raudha's death. A quick 30-minute autopsy was performed in the hospital linked with Rajshahi Medical College, and Raudha's cause of death was declared as suicide. Raudha's friends and families found it impossible to believe that she would take her life. Even hostel superintendent said that she found it hard to believe Raudha killed herself because she always looked happy. College authorities claimed that Raudha committed suicide by hanging herself on the ceiling fan. They also claimed that they had to break down the door to enter her room and bring her body down before police arrived to the scene. These are 2 very important informations to know to talk about further. She was buried on April 1, 2017. Her family rejected police suicide theory. They believed that there was a cover-up and police and medical college had refused to allow an independent autopsy to be carried out on her body and pushed for burial quickly. So Raudha's father, Muhammad Athif, being a trained forensic expert, decided to do his own investigation because he had seen Raudha's body before burial. He claimed Raudha had a large distinct hand marks on her neck. The mark had 1 thumb on one side and 4 fingers on the other side, as if someone had grabbed her neck with their bare hands to strangle her. When family had raised this issue with police, they dismissed the hand marks, saying she must have tried to change her mind after hanging, and these were the marks left from her own self, which is very unsettling because Raudha's hands were clenched in a fist when rigor mortis set in, and if she had tried to set herself free, her hands should have been open. Clenched fist represents that she was struggling hard with something when she was dying. Another unsettling fact was the ligature mark on Raudha's neck. So apparently Raudha used a blue scarf to hang herself, and there was a distinctive ligature mark on her neck. The nature of the ligature mark depends upon the material and position of ligature used at the time of the suspension of body after death. If the ligature material is soft like cloth and is removed immediately after the death, the mark might be absent in such cases. The statements issued by the hostel warden states that they found her hanging and then they removed the ligature. Here, in Raudha's case, based on the time of the death and removal of ligature, there was not so much gap. Hence, a soft material like a scarf cannot produce such a deep mark, and width of the ligature mark is continuous around her neck, which does not sit well with the scarf. This also shows that the ligature mark was not by the scarf, it was either belt or something hard like a belt. And honestly, ligature mark on Raudha is so distinctive that even a kid can tell that that mark was not made with a cloth. The first autopsy report said that there were strangulation marks on Raudha, but they later dismissed it, saying they were the birthmarks. But she didn't have a birthmark on her neck, not that her mother and father know of, only if they appear 21 years later of her birth, which sounds like a joke. Muhammad Athif also noticed signs of struggle in the room, as some of the items in her room appears damaged and broken, including the mirror of the wardrobe, which was near the point of hanging. The plastic handle of her broomstick was also broken to pieces and was laying here and there. The glass table top was also broken from a corner. On the table, a pan of cooked curry was placed on stove top, a teacup which showed that Raudha had her tea in the breakfast and cooked curry to have in lunch. I mean, look at this table. What does it look like? Table of a girl who was about to kill herself? Muhammad Athif also took statements from hostel warden and one of her batchmates, Sirat Praveen Muhammad, who was the first student in her block to find Raudha hanging. Sirat Praveen was from Indian administrated Kashmir. She was Raudha's best friend and was living in adjacent room. She told Athif that the morning when she came to meet Raudha, she found her room's door locked from the inside, and after knocking the door a few times, there was no response. She peeped through a 10mm gap on Raudha's room door and saw her hanging from the ceiling fan with a blue colored shawl. Then she screamed and started running to inform other senior students and warden. About some 15 students gathered outside Raudha's room and forcefully broke the door, entered the room, loosed Raudha from hanging noose and kept her on the bed. By that time, Rajshahi police also visited the room with some local media crew. According to her earlier testimony, Sirat was the last person to see Raudha Athif alive, as Raudha was last seen studying with Sirat around 12:30 in the night, and police said that she died somewhat after that time. An important fact is that a few weeks before her death, Raudha told her mother that someone had mixed sleeping pills in her drink. Later she learned that it was her own friend Sirat Praveen who tried to drug her, which led to a heated argument between them. Athif also found out that the night Raudha was last seen alive, she visited university doctor because she was feeling drowsy and was vomiting. Also, if Raudha's body was brought down by breaking down the door must have been damaged. The shutter would be broken or bent. But look at them. There is no such sign. Another controversial fact was that if a person weighing at least 40 kg hangs from the fan, there will be some mark on the fan as well. And Raudha weighed 55 kg. All this could be traced in a test easily. None of these signs were found on the fan. So how did she commit suicide then? Investigators also found a rat killer pack from her bed, but this pack was never used for anything. The most suspicious fact in this incident is that the CCTV camera outside Raudha's room apparently malfunctioned on the night of March 28th. The same camera was actually functioning properly throughout the day, choosing only that particular night to fail to work. Few days after Raudha's death, something strange happened with her Instagram. 2 people were unfollowed from her account. Now, Raudha was no more and her phone was in police custody, who were still struggling to unlock that password-protected phone. So, someone must have access to her Instagram account, and that someone was not from her family, as they didn't have access to her Instagram account. So who can it be? 2 people who were unfollowed from her account. One of them was Sirat Praveen, her best friend, and other was this guy. There is actually not much information available about this guy, at least online, and things were not limited with just account unfollowing. Raudha's Instagram account was permanently deleted. On April 10, 2017, Dr. Muhammad Athif filed a murder case with the court in Rajshahi alleging Raudha's classmate Sirat Praveen Muhammad, 21-year-old, as the only accused. But Sirat was not arrested. The court instead imposed a ban on her leaving Bangladesh. On April 14, 2017, the case was handed over from Shah Makdoum police station to the CID. Raudha's body was exhumed from the grave and a second autopsy was conducted. But the second autopsy report followed the first one, stating that death was caused by suicide. Later, on October 15, 2017, the then police inspector of Shah Makdoum police station and Inspector of Criminal Investigation Department of Police, Asamul Haq, submitted the final report of the case to the court. Raudha's father disagreed with the report. Taking his non-agreement into consideration, the court assigned the Police Bureau of Investigation, PBI, to investigate the case. PBI investigation officers submitted the investigation report to the court 2 years later on May 18, 2019. The PBI report said the allegations brought by Raudha's father were found out in the investigation to be mistake of the facts. The marks on Raudha's neck that her father claimed to be fingerprinted are bruised by the thin metals that were with her scarf. This looked like a joke to me, honestly. I have seen those marks in the pictures and they are clearly not made from the beads. The PBI also did not find any witness or evidence regarding the involvement of Sirat with her death. They said they gathered evidence that proves her death by suicide and it was due to her utter despair over the breakup with her boyfriend Shahi Ghani. Shahi Ghani, also Maldivian, was studying molecular biology and pathology in London Imperial College in the UK. Raudha and Shahi had an affair and 4 months before her death, they spent around 2 weeks together in India. PBI learnt about their affair analyzing the photographs they found on her phone, laptop and about 17,000 pages of WhatsApp and Facebook conversations between them. They said on the night before her death, Raudha infiltrated into the Facebook messenger of Shahi and discovered that he was cheating on her. At her discovery, she attempted suicide by taking sedative pills on the night of March 28, 2017 when she was treated at her medical college hospital. Then in the early hours of the next day, she wrote to him, "I only loved you. You never loved me. You are a terrible human being. You have done irreplaceable damage. There is nothing left. I feel hollow. I feel dead." They said that she took her life anytime after she wrote him, "You killed me," as the last message at around 2:30 am. And these messages clearly show that she couldn't endure his cheating. And this is what Muhammad Athif had to say on their reason of suicide. I mean, what are the odds that someone else used Raudha's phone to send all these messages when she was under the influence of sedatives before taking her life to represent this killing as a suicide? PBI did not bring any allegation against Raudha's boyfriend as he is not citizen of Bangladesh and they were not asked to do that by the higher officials. Raudha's father expressed dissatisfaction with this report yet again. Raudha's brother Ryan said Raudha was a strong woman. She would not back down and stood up for herself and for others. It could have made extremists boil up inside with anger. Her style of clothing was branded as immodest and un-Islamic even though she adhered to the dress code in the college premises. There have been a series of murders in Bangladesh which had been staged to look like suicides and extremists have been suspected to be behind these atrocities. Muhammad Athif also pointed out that Raudha's autopsy was not consistent with Bangladesh Human Rights Commission's recommended standard protocol for autopsy. He said the report is an insult to forensic studies and was work of a schoolboy. The authorities concerned did not conduct any X-ray or MRI to detect the sign on Raudha's neck. Muhammad Athif also wrote a detailed blog discussing all the loopholes left by police during investigation with the stated facts. You should check that out if you are interested to study this case in depth. I will put down the link in the description. Police Bureau of Investigation of Bangladesh conducted 5 investigations following her death. They also conducted 2 autopsies ahead of her burial. Rajshahi Metropolitan Magistrate gave the order after the hearing of a review appeal submitted by Muhammad Athif on July 19, 2022. The order approved on July 22, 2022. Raudha's father is still in Bangladesh fighting for justice. 5 years went by and he still hasn't left hope. Rest of his family returned to Maldives 2 weeks after Raudha's death. My heart really goes to Raudha's father. He lost a perfect daughter and he is not finding closure to move forward in his life. To anyone who knows the truth, even the slightest of the truth, please speak out. Please speak out for this father, for Raudha, who is no more among us. There are so many questions surrounding this case, and these questions might not even have been raised if Muhammad Athif was not a forensic expert. I am linking his Twitter thread below. You can check it out. And let me warn you, there are Raudha's ligature mark pictures, so decide for yourself if you want to go through it. This will really help you understand the pain of a father who is desperate to get justice. So what do you think? Is there a foul play involved, or was it a suicide? Remember these aqua blue eyes. I pray Raudha's family find their closure and their peace soon.